Today we're going to see an example on how do we use Jmockit and what is the purpose of having Jmockit. So, so what basically is mocking? Let's start from basics so that you will understand what exactly Jmockit is for. I know you have a lot of classes, other classes where we use mocking like Mockito and all. So many frameworks are there. But the question is why Jmockit? So to arrive there, you need to understand first what is mocking. What we do is that we first isolate the class or method which we want to test, right? Then what we do is that we ignore the dependencies of related classes when not necessary. And then we have to simplify the testing environment by providing empty proxies instead of complex logical units. So let's take one by one now. So a common and powerful technique for using Gmocket is the one which you're going to see now. Uh, Traditionally, a mock object is an instance of a class, which we all mostly know, you will agree. But now when you want to make an instance of a class, that means you are making an object. So this instance is passed to the code under test to take place one of its dependencies. Now, each mock object behaves in the way expected by both the code under test and the test that use it so that all tests can pass, right? So this simply means that, if I need to prepare an object, I should, be able to mock not just its methods, but also the constructors. So that's where Gmocket helps you. Gmocket goes beyond conventional mock objects. How does it go beyond? It's by allowing methods and constructors to be mocked directly on real classes. So this eliminates the need to instantiate mock objects in tests. So if you see that when you're testing in Spring, you will see something like add AutoWire and for the object to be wired inside the Spring framework. And when you are using the same object during testing, you will see another annotation of mocks, right? So something like add mocks, and then you see the class name. Now here, this is what we are going to avoid it. What we are going to do is we are going to eliminate the need to instantiate mock objects in tests and pass them to code editors. Objects created by code editors will execute the mock behavior defined by tests whenever methods or constructors are called in the real classes. When a class is mocked, the original implementations of existing methods concepts are temporarily replaced with what? With the mock implementations, usually for the duration of a single test. This mocking approach applies us not only to public instances, but also to final and static methods. It's exactly like, giving you a feeling of uh, things are happening. But when the things are happening, it's not, yeah, I'm not involving the real classes and real objects. If you see, the olden days, way the drama theater was done to have a single man show was, something like, so what I meant is now as a puppet show. So that what we saw as a puppet show of Ramayan, where we are simulating Ramayan using mock objects. There was no human beings there, but the role gets played, the story goes on, and the concepts also gets displayed. Similar way, we will write now a very small example on Junits. So let's make sure that we make a Maven project, and in the project we are going to, let's make a Maven project, and in the Maven project let's create a simple project, and then let's call this as understanding Jmockit. So in this Jmockit, we will make a class. So now let's start a very simple example known as calculator class, and I'm intentionally taking a very simple class so that you will have focus on understanding why Jmockit is needed and how do we use Jmockit for geometry testing. That's the reason might sign this example might sound very silly, like why do you need Java program to do calculation, especially additions and multiplications. So let's try writing this class. Uh, uh, it basically has two methods. The first method is add, where it expects you to give an integer a and then integer b, and it will return you the addition of both of these numbers. And then you will have multiply method, where it also takes an integer a and integer b and returns you the product of that. Now, this is what this class is, a calculator class which has two methods. And what we are going to do now is that we're going to use this inside another service class. Now we have a service class which is going to call the calculator class, and we are passing that class as a constructor to this, and then we are doing the calculations. So what we do is we take the sum, we pass the values to that, and then it gives you the sum, and then it also gives you the multiplications, right? And this is doing the operations here. It's returning the sum, it's returning the product also.
Hello? Hi, it's me.
So we're using calculator dot add, it gives you the sum. We are using calculator dot multiply, it gives you the product.
Supposed to call McDonald. You want cash? She said she'd do it. He cut she would do. But there's a cash. She's working on her case.
Let's
First degree murder.
for time being, only return the sum, not the product.
Okay. Well, thanks for that.
Return sum.
All right, bye.
So far, so good. So now we hit the reality of the truth. Now, when we write, do Java coding using frameworks like Spring Boot framework and all, what we do is we get driven by automatically by good design and testable code, right? So which helps us to mock interfaces, non-final classes or instant methods, blah blah blah, all those things. And Mockit will help you with the dependency injection and clean object context. But why Jmockit? So here's the important part, the crux of what I'm trying to tell is that Jmockit can help you to test any code, even it is poorly designed or legacy code. And that is why people prefer Jmockit. It can mock static methods, it can mock final classes, it can mock private methods, it can mock constructors, it can mock system classes, right? So how is Jmockit able to test any code, whether it is poorly designed or legacy code? That is what we need to explore here. That is why I've written two methods here using calculator. I mean, it's just a Java file. I would have brought a legacy code into picture and explained, but I purposely kept the example very simple to first understand how what is Jmockit and how to implement Jmockit.
Sure. We're going back out there. Michael, this is Nolan. Hi, I'm
So now we discussed why Jmockit is needed. Now we claimed that it can do kind of testing for any code, whether it's legacy code or maybe it's a Java code
detectives.
exactly out of the migrated COBOL code, it could be GSPs and all that stuff. Now, very important thing here is that Gmock can be done, the testing can be done in the two ways. One is the state-based testing, where we literally code another method just like the real method and make it return something. That's called as a state-based testing using the Jmock APIs. Wherever you see anything like mockup APIs inside the Junit code, that you call as state-based testing. And the second one was the behavior-based testing, where we're using the expectations class. And what we are doing there is that uh, we are uh, just like the uh, when then, in the Mockito method, we are writing all the expectations there. When this comes, you just return this, just like that. So that's called as behavior-based testing. So that's the intent of having both the flavors. That is, sometimes for you the behavior-based testing becomes important, and sometimes the state-based testing becomes important. Right. So let's dig further now of when do we need a state-based testing and when do we need a behavior-based testing. So we were discussing about what kind of testing we should do when we are doing unit testing. We had written two methods here. One is the match service. Pardon me for my voice. Then this match service is calling a calculator service, which is here. What we can observe here is that this class is more clean. It is having methods. It's having an object. It's having a class. I can clearly see the states of this, right? After addition, I'm going to have a state. I'm going to have values. After multiplication, I'm going to have a state and a value, right? So state-based testing would help for this class. We are going to also take another class where we will need behavior-based testing. But state-based testing means we are simply going to use mock-up methods instead of injections. So what basically we're going to do is we're going to mock up all the methods which are present here. So there are only two methods, right? One is the sum, which does the addition of two integers, and another one is the product. So as long as we are going to mock these two methods, we are fine, right? We can mock constructor also if we are using the service class. So back to summarize things, we wrote a simple method calculator.java, and then we call that service from match service, and then we observe that we can see the states of this calculations very easily. We concluded that we'll go for this the state-based testing rather than behavior-based testing. Then we come here, we will write a simple Jmockit test here. What will we do here is that we will, we mock the calculator class. because we have to mock that while testing our service. And then what we do is we mock up the behavior. What we do is we calculate a dot, add 2, 3, we send the result as 5, right? And then we calculate, multiply 5 into 2, we send the result as 10. So this is what calls mocking behavior. And we're going to call the math service, new math service calculator. We're going to take the result math service dot perform calculation. And then if it equals 10, then result, then we are going to assert and then you have to pass it. So what are we going to do here is add test is the first test, the second test. Assert 30 equals 10.20, assert 203 equals multiply 1020, assert equals 16, math series dot perform calculation 1020. Now, that being said, if I try to run this, what result will I get? What do you expect? You have written in expectations here. If it's adding 2, 3, I should get 5. If I'm multiplying, I should get 10. So at least the first test should pass. Let me, for the time being, not write the second test. Okay. And then let's clean it and see what happens. Since it's a May 1 test, I'm going to run this as clean. And then I'm going to run this as May 1 test. What's going to happen? What do you expect? Just to pass or fail? Perfect. It passed. Now what I've done is that, simple mock test. I have mocked 1020, but I just took out another test. So let's put this test. What do you expect here to happen? Remember that in the expectations, I am not very particular about which instance is mocked, right? Let's see. Remember that in the second method, I am not using any of the mocks of Jmockit. Is that correct? So I'm expecting this to, work because I'm directly calling the service, right? So when I directly call the service, it should pass. Let's check. Run as Maven, please.
Fall in love in a place like this. We're fine.
I'm telling you, need to wait on the code program.
I'm putting
What happens?
I left him for 45 minutes. She, do you really fuck with me?
Oh, see the test calculator. Test run 2 failures, 1 errors, 1. So which one failed first? Let's go to line 40. So this one has failed for us, 10, 20. That's the second test which has failed for us. Now, what could be the reason for the failure? You need to understand that when you mock a class in Jmockit, I mean, when you mock the instance of a class, you are mocking all the instances. Is that correct? So why did the test fail? No, we were analyzing that, right? Why did the test fail? So when we here went, it is failing here. Why is it failing? It is because of this task. Um, what exactly we are doing here? We are mocking all the instances of the class, not a specific instance. See, I mocked a calculator. Now, suppose what I do is that I say calculator is equal to my calculator. Then I just pass my calculator here.
Was anyone with you when you found the body? Did you hear anything? Voices, a stroke, gunshot? No, nothing. I came around the corner and saw Jane forever.
So now I made instance of this and I pass the instance of this here. And now let's see. It was. Now the question is, oh, sorry. I need to give it here. Right? Does it accept this? No, it does not accept this. My calculator is my instance, right? Suppose I do this only here. Control X and Control V. Would it work? Dictation cannot resolve to attack. That's okay. Would it compile?
Morning, everyone. I'm Inspector Bobois. This is Chief Inspector Junit.
And then I
We're
will
with
run
the
the test.
homicide units. As you may know, a woman's body was found in the forest this morning. All I can tell you right now is that her death may or may not have been accidental, that her name is Jane Neal. Any of you have any information about this, we would love to speak with you right now. Thank you.
We still have this issue. It's compiling. But what we made sure is that, we will we passed only the instance of this because I guess that this was taking okay. So maybe this is the issue here. I need to put this as my calculator and then let's watch. You don't need again the calculator here. It's already declared, right? And then who will this run? Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to Okay, there is a compilation error which I need to correct. It says cannot find a symbol variable calculator. Okay. So where is the variable calculator? Oh, it's here.
So far, people would have. But you were was going. Yeah. When were those things? So.
Let's try this now. Again. Run as
What were you?
A1 test. Oh, I still have a compilation error.
Boys. Gay bashers. Friday morning.
At 29:51.
No. Guts to bash anyone. No.
Okay. No, I don't think so. You'll have any compilation error. Let's try again.
Jane, he's going on, and she yells at him to stop.
Yes, you the compilation error works, but I still have the failure at line number 44,
She had
which means that it's still getting overlaid. It's not taking the specific instance.
years ago, parents objected, and that was that. Okay, but the lumberjack, but I just was.
So this test is failing. We try to resolve this by calling a specific instance here. In spite of that, it is failing. But we could be partially, we would have corrected the problem. We still don't know. We would have done the correction, not complete. So anyhow, we don't need this at mocked anywhere no more, right? Because we are calling instance and we're passing the instance here. So there's no need to be have this at mocked. And then here I have to put calculator, right? Calculator, my calculator is equal to new calculator. Create parameter. We'll just put this one. Yeah.
Where are you, sir? Are you staying here at the D&D?
And now we will see whether this works, right? And
Most of the time, yeah, we use it for community functions sometimes, but you know it is.
this.
I suppose you can try the old schoolhouse. We're the only ones that use it, so there's wait. Not the archery club. Ben Hadley and I started when we were kids.
So now this works. So in order to conclude about our corrections, what we did this time, we have to remember one thing is that when we are mocking, we have to be very careful when it comes to Jmockit. We are mocking using the state technique rather than behavior technique. So we are observing the states, and since we want to observe the states, we are mocking only particular objects So we mock the calculator object here, but we have to mock the specific instance. We will have so many objects of calculator. So we try to do a specific instance, and then we pass the result. And we passing the result. We did the testing, and during that time the calculator real test was failing because our earlier test was having an issue. We corrected that, and we made sure that we are using we're observing the states in our unit testing, not the behaviors. So we used all the Jmockit library for that. That's new expectations. And using the expectations, we made sure that we will use a specific instance rather than all the instances. So I'm not concluding the episode of Jmockit here. The first episode, we talked about why we need Jmockit, just to summarize, and then we also saw that there are two types of way you can do Jmockit testing, and is behavior based and is state based. So first we saw state based, then we'll see another case where we'll need behavior based, and then we'll take some more examples of what are the extra features or libraries in Jmockit which we can use while doing the testing. So right now we took a very ideal class for testing so that we don't struggle much, but we'll actually take a legacy class, struggle a little while writing Junit, right? And then we will choose both the type of methods, state-based and behavior-based. And then we'll conclude on Jmockit. And then also further we'll try to select instead of Jmockit, let's try to see if we can fit Mockito wherever we need it. Right? If you like this video, hit the like button. Thank you.